"Stop right there, car thief!" That's what Daisy Hall, the HOA president, screamed at me while pointing a garden hose like it was a shotgun. My coffee was still cooling in the cup holder when she called 911 to have me arrested for grand theft auto, all because she swore my Honda Civic was hers. And the punchline: I'm not just some broke mechanic squatting in this neighborhood, I'm an undercover cop, and Daisy has no idea the car she's obsessing over is about to blow her entire scam wide open. I should back up. The name's Dean. At least that's the name everyone here knows. Dean Stevens, the unemployed nephew taking care of his sick aunt. But my real badge says Detective Dean Bowman, Financial Crimes Division. 10 years on the job, dozens of fraud cases under my belt, and not once did I think an HOA president would be the most ruthless criminal I'd ever investigate. This place looks like paradise on a postcard, rows of trimmed hedges and pastel shutters, but Daisy turned it into her personal kingdom. People lived in fear of her violation letters, grass too high, mailbox too low, even fines for leaving Christmas lights up one day past January. But her worst crime, the one that got me involved. What she did to my Aunt Elena. 18 months ago, Daisy hit my aunt with a so-called emergency roof assessment, $15,000 due immediately payable to Morrison Maintenance, LLC. Spoiler alert, Morrison Maintenance doesn't exist. Daisy made it up, pocketed the money, and when my aunt couldn't pay the HOA, foreclosed on her home. 40 years of memories gone in a month. The stress nearly killed her, literally. She ended up in a senior apartment with a failing heart. That was the day I swore I'd take Daisy down, even if it meant burying myself in this neighborhood for a year. So I moved in under a fake name, Fixed Fences. Walked Elena's dog, played the quiet good guy, while secretly documenting every bogus fee Daisy pushed. I'd been building the case slowly, carefully. But the morning she spotted that lightning bolt crack in my bumper, everything almost went up in smoke. I'd bought the Civic at a police auction 3 months back. Pure chance it had once belonged to Daisy. She saw that crack and froze like she'd just spotted a ghost. Then she exploded. Screaming, my car was hers, circling with her heels clacking on the asphalt, snapping photos like she was CSI Suburbs. She jabbed a manicured finger at me, calling me a liar, accusing me of harassment, and dialing 911 with the fury of someone who thinks the world owes them obedience. I sat there, heart pounding, thinking, this is it. 12 months undercover, blown by a bumper. I could see blinds twitching up and down the street, neighbors peeking out, half of them already convinced I was guilty. For a second, I actually wanted to give up. Pack it in, let Daisy keep her kingdom, and admit maybe I'd been wrong. Maybe I was in too deep, risking my badge and my sanity over a woman who was just too good at playing the system. But then Harold stepped outside. Retired teacher, 67, gray hair. Calm voice that could silence a room. He carried a manila folder like it was the Holy Grail. 15 months he'd been keeping records, every suspicious invoice, every shady HOA transaction. He'd waited for the moment Daisy slipped, and here it was. "Didn't you sell that Honda 8 months ago, Daisy?" he asked loud enough for everyone to hear. That was the spark. Neighbors started murmuring, filming on their phones, realizing maybe the crazy wasn't me after all. Daisy doubled down, whipping out a ruler to measure the crack on my bumper. 11.3 inches long, 2.7 wide, she actually read out the numbers like she was in front of the Supreme Court. If it weren't so dangerous, it would have been comedy. Then Officer Morgan rolled up. My stomach sank. Of all the patrol cops in this city, it had to be him. He knew exactly who I was and what I was doing here. If he slipped, if he so much as called me by the wrong name, my cover was gone. Daisy ran at him like a banshee, screaming about her stolen car, shoving photos and measurements in his face. Morgan played it perfectly professional and neutral, reading my fake registration like it was gospel. Vehicle registered to Dean Stevens, purchased at police auction 3 months ago. He said loud enough for the crowd. Daisy's face drained like a blue screen of death. But she wasn't giving up. She demanded VIN checks, FBI databases, conspiracy theories spilling out of her like floodwater. The neighbors were split, some laughing, some shocked, all watching the show. And then my Aunt Elena appeared, slow and steady with her walker, but her voice carried like thunder. Is that the woman who destroyed my home 18 months ago? You could have heard a pin drop. Daisy whirled on her garden hose, still dripping, shrieking about complainers and deadbeats. And that's when it happened. She cracked. She screamed. Old people should move to retirement homes anyway. I researched every resident's finances. I knew your weak spots. Her own words turned the crowd against her. The gasps, the mutters, the fury. It was like watching a dam break. I'd had enough. I stepped forward, pulled my badge from my jacket, and let my real voice out for the first time in a year. I'm Detective Dean Bowman, Financial Crimes Division, and I've been investigating HOA fraud in this neighborhood since last April. Silence. Then chaos. Daisy's face went through denial. Terror, rage. She pointed the hose at me like it was Excalibur. You're a cop. You're the thief. The crowd laughed because the irony was too perfect. She'd called the police on the police. The supervisor arrived, took one look at Harold's thick binder, at Elena's trembling testimony, and at Daisy still screaming about federal conspiracies, and that was it. He read her rights as the cuffs clicked shut. Daisy fought like a toddler in a grocery store meltdown, yelling about stolen cars, while half the neighborhood recorded the scene. But everyone knew the truth. Every invoice, every lie, every ruined family, it all led back to her. As they shoved her into the patrol car, I stood there, adrenaline buzzing, watching the queen of this cul-de-sac dragged away in handcuffs. She tried one last desperate plea. What about my car? Who was arrested, but no one was listening anymore. The reign of Daisy Hall was over. And in that moment, with the sirens fading and neighbors staring in stunned relief, I realized something simple. Tyrants only hold power as long as people are too afraid to stand together.